Hello, this video is for my Year 10 design class with the coding option, and we are going to set up our tools file in JavaScript. Now if you've been following along in this class, we just did this in Python and we made a really simple function called isEven, and we're going to make the exact same function in JavaScript, and we're going to look at how we test it. The reason why I'm having you create this tools file in two different programming languages is because in this course we do quite a bit of JavaScript and we do a bit of Python, but more importantly, I want you to understand that it's the same thing. Whatever programming language you choose, it's the same logic. So it's really good to kind of develop in multiple languages at the same time when you're learning, because it gives you a better appreciation for for programming in general. Okay, so if you remember, we're going to make a function called isEven. It's going to take a parameter a. We're going to say if a mod 2 equivalent to 0 is true, we return true, because that means it's even. And if it returns false, if we get false, we return false, because that means it's odd. How do we do this? In our tools folder we created, we're going to right click, we're going to make a new file, and we're going to save this as tools, and we're going to say your first initial, last initial, so I put pm.js. This just helps me keep track of things. And now I'm going to make a function. Now, let's do this. Let's go over to our Python example, and let's highlight this, and we're just going to copy this and paste it exactly in. Now, this isn't going to work because this is Python code, not JavaScript. But the logic is exactly the same. So we can come in here and now just tweak this, and it will work. So to do this, I'm going to change def to function, because in JavaScript, we define a function by writing the word function. Whereas Python, the indentation is how we tell if we're inside a function or inside some sort of logic structure. In JavaScript, we use braces. So I'm going to open my function here with that brace, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to close that brace. Now I can pull all of this back, and that has it will run fine, provided I clean a couple other things up, because indentation doesn't matter anymore. But I like to keep the indentation because that makes it really nice and easy to read. Okay, we're going to change this if statement. In JavaScript, we're going to put our if statement inside brackets like this, and we open a brace and close a brace. Now notice how it knew where to close that brace? That's because I tabbed that in. So braces are how we indicate different code blocks in JavaScript. And now I'm going to save this. Now there's one last thing I have to change. In JavaScript, a Boolean is true, but it's spelled with a small t, and false is spelled with a small f. And I often like to put semicolons in JavaScript, just to have it. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to highlight this and copy this. So the question is, how do I test this? Well, the way I test it is I come into my browser, and I'm going to pull up the console and then paste that function into that console and then run some test cases. Remember, JavaScript, though it works in a wide variety of areas now, it was originally designed to work in a browser. So this is the native environment of JavaScript. So we can run JavaScript code in our browser. So I'm going to pull up my developer tools. So we can do this two ways. I can do a drop down, find more tools, and select developer tools. And I get access to this, so you can see by clicking on those three dots, more tools, developer tools, and I get my pop-up. There it is. There's my console. Also, if we close this, on a Mac, I can hit Command Option I. By hitting Command Option I, it will pop up. So what am I going to do? I'm going to copy that code there, and I'm just going to paste it in and hit Enter. So now that code's in the buffer, so to speak. I have access to that function, and that function is called isEven. Let's try and make it a little bit bigger so we can see everything here. If I do this, there we go, a little smaller there. Okay, so if I put isEven, even, and I pass it like a 10, you see how it automatically is putting true down there? That's because it's running the code. So isEven 10, true. I can put isEven 0, true. IsEven 99, false. Perfect. I'm running some test code for my function. I could put, for example, here, for I equals 0, I is less than 100, I is equal to I plus 1. So this is a for loop in JavaScript, and if I hit enter, notice how it hasn't done anything. Because I put a brace there, it knows I'm going to add some code, and I'm going to say console.log isEven, and I'm going to check isEven I. So console.log in JavaScript is the same as print. I'll hit enter, close that brace, and when I press enter, watch this. There it is. Ran every case from 0 to 99. And that's it. You now have your tools class in JavaScript and your tools class in Python. And over this course, we're going to continually add tools in here to help develop our programming skills. I hope this video helped. Have a great day.